I've been in a lot of engine rooms, and Riviera's 58 SMY may be the best laid out engine room that I've ever seen in a platform under 60 feet. Let's have a look. Access to the engine room is through this teak hatch located in the mezzanine. There's two very solid latches and two gas struts to support the hatch. Oh, and look who I found, Captain Boomies, who entered through the forward engine room compartment that goes into the crew quarters.
It was easier than lifting a hatch.
One thing I like about these steps is they're nice and wide, and they're made out of a plastic material. Easier on the feet than those narrow steel ladders that you see in a lot of engine room entrances.
Wow, this is a huge engine room and so much space. These are such high-tech engines. As soon as you turn them on, they'll let you know what's going on. The only thing I would come down here to check is that my bilge is totally immaculate, that my engines are in the run position, because that's what Volvo Penta has set up for us. These engines are incredibly smart. They're gonna tell me a lot of those details all on their own, but I'm still gonna eyeball everything in here, especially my sea strainers, engine oil, and filters.
So a few technical aspects of the engine room. First of all, these Volvo Pentas are the IPS 1350, each producing 1,000 horsepower. Now there's a short jack shaft that goes back to the actual IPS units. Very well laid out and very accessible. Easy to get to the dipsticks and your oil filters. Going outboard, there's access to the 29 kilowatt Onan generator. It's a model EQC. And up on these two shelves are easy access to the Dometic air handlers. One other thing I like about these engines is the amount of space in between them. There's 3.5 feet in between these two engines, so you don't have to squeeze yourself into small spaces. There's also adequate space on the outside of both engines, so if you have to get there to work on anything, you've got room to be able to do it. Riviera is known for the quality of their construction, down to every last detail. For example, let's take a look at this strainer. It's stainless steel, very solid, and there's these beefy wing nuts to support the top. Easy access to all the through holes.
This manifold right here is all of your freshwater system, and every single one of these has such a clear and immaculate label. Even the Garmin system, each one of these plugs is labeled. I love when people do that.
There are 6 zones of air conditioning. Each one of these systems is completely independent. That means you don't lose the air conditioning in the entire boat. If one zone goes down, you still have air conditioning every place else.
Captain Greg, I'm gonna leave you to geek out a little more in this amazing engine room. I'm gonna take the easy way out. See you up there. That was easy.
Let's take a more detailed look at the engine room now. Starting with the amount of space that we have over these engines, which is absolutely amazing to be able to get in and do work. There is 3 feet of space on top of both of these engines. The headroom underneath the frame is 5 feet 9 inches and 6 inches if you're in between the stringers. Moving over to the port engine, same amount of space above, easy access to both sides. Moving parts are what tend to break most frequently on boats, and I've had some issues with Glendenning power cords. I like what Riviera has done here, leaving all the mechanicals for the Glendenning shore power exposed. Sometimes these things hop their tracks or have other issues. Moving parts are what causes problems on boats, and the ease of access here is really well thought out. Stabilizers are often difficult to get access to. The Humphrey Zero Speed on both port and starboard can be easily accessed with really no other clutter around it on both sides. Another example is this DC distribution system. Everything is clearly labeled, and there's easy access to every one of the switches and breakers that you would need. Being a blue water cruiser, redundancy is key. Each one of the batteries can be completely isolated. This is a fully automated DC distribution panel. However, if you lose one battery, you can use a parallel switch to pull in another one to make sure all the systems remain operational. On the forward bulkhead are all of the strainers for both fuel and water. Accessibility is outstanding. This boat comes with an optional blue water water maker. On the forward bulkhead to starboard is an oil change system. Now the thing I like about this is the oil actually doesn't have to be brought down into the engine room. Both the outgoing oil as well as the new incoming oil can be kept on deck, and there's hoses that are connected to this system which will drain and then fill the engines. I like to be able to tell down in the engine room anything that maybe is moved inappropriately. What Riviera has done here is on the bolts for the engine mounts, they put 2 torque marks on it. So by just a glance, I can tell if any of the bolts have started to work their way loose. Riviera's 58 SMY, in my opinion, is a model engine room for something in under a 60-foot platform.
Thank you so much for going through this engine room. Still completely blown away by how well put together it is. I am Captain Boomies.
And I'm Captain Gregg.
Life is better on a boat.